This is day 36, and today was the performance eval tournament, and we ended up getting 282nd in the opens. And I didn't play with my actual duo; I just played with the Phil, and that ended up being my second best ever eval placement. I got my best placement in the Simpsons season. I made a video on it where we got like 200 points, got top 150, top 170 or so. So it doesn't seem like we did good, 282nd, but in reality, it's actually pretty good for me. And it just shows like I didn't feel like personally I played well at all or that we played well, but it just shows like my baseline of like me playing decent has gone up over time. Like whatever I used to think was good is now normal for me, and whatever I used to think was good back then is now when whatever I thought was normal back then is now shit. So like, like my expectations keep going up, obviously, and I feel like we could have done much better. But I'm gonna go over the games later. But we got four things to talk about. So number one is I've been trying to find time, obviously, to work out because you gotta play the infinite game. Like you gotta play this game, not just Fortnite, but like the game of life for as long as possible, bro. And I'm obviously trying to work out, but like I just can't find time in the right ways, like to work out. But this Christmas, I'm gonna get dumbbells. So once I get those, like in between games or whenever I just find time, I'm just gonna get workouts in. Like I'm not gonna like say I'm gonna do 3 sets of this every day at this certain time. Like I'm just gonna let it flow naturally. If I find time, I can do 100 sets if I want to. But some days I just won't find time to, and that's fine. So that's one way I'm going to deal with that. Also, from December 22nd to January 5th, there's going to be no tournaments because Epic Games is going to take their break. So that's when I want to bring back like doing the rank fights. So I want to stream that, obviously. And right now I'm not doing any rank fights because the tournaments are enough for to get out of my comfort zone, and I don't need to add more rank fights on top of them. But once they go on their break, I'm gonna bring it back. And I used to do an hour of aim training in the morning. So when I would wake up, go for my 5 minutes of sunlight outside, come back, eat my breakfast, and then I would get on and do an hour of aim training. But like that built a lot of resistance to getting on. I'm like, okay, before I can even do anything, I had to do an hour of aim training. I'm like, why don't I just do it like the same thing with weightlifting? Just do 5 to 10 minutes when I get on as a warm up, warm my hands up, and then literally just if I find time, do it. And the rest of the day, I can use it as another warm up after my second meal of the day. And I don't need to have a rigid schedule like 1 hour blocks. It's not the most important thing in the day. And the last thing is that I'm gonna keep playing ranked before and after tournaments until I hit Unreal, so I can play the 1 mil Unreal Cup. But then once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go back to playing zone rule scrims because I noticed I haven't been playing much recently, and I just been doing a lot of VOD reviewing. But you gotta also play the scrims. Like you gotta not only watch other people, but you gotta also play the game and watch your own games as well. So that's something I need to start doing. So this game, I end up getting lurked on off spawn. And what I think the problem was, so I looked at his teammate and I wanted to see how they got to us so fast because we scouted and we saw nobody near us. So what they did was one of their teammates scout dropped and just looked for us. And they both ended up getting jetpacks, which is very lucky. But they ended up getting jetpacks, and they saw me and my teammate landing up split. So all they did was just get 2 jetpacks and just straight land on me. So the fix here is literally just to land together. This is not a finals lobby, it's an opens lobby. People do weird things. Like people would, I mean, maybe they would do this in a grands, probably not. Or like a set lobby, but in it opens, it's always better to land together. If we would have landed together and we get jumped here, at least we're getting jumped together. But my teammate has to get from over there all the way over here when I only have 38 builds and I haven't popped any shields. So if we would have both just landed here and then just go to this house, it would have been much better. So like this isn't really a mistake per se, but we end up getting 5th place this game, right? But so like what my coach always tells me is The battle is first get to top 5, top 6, right? Get to top 6 because then you can get a lot of points. You get the placement points, 2 points per placement, but then from top 6 to top 2 or whatever, it's like +4. So getting from top 6 to top 2 is super important. How do you get top 2? You get one of the power layers. You either get high or you either get low ground. Here we had a very good opportunity to get low ground. Why? Because first, it double pulled into dead side. That's the first thing. Which means there's going to be no one over here, clearly, right? Everyone's on backside. The second thing is the elevation change. Look, everyone is up because it pulled down from a mountain. So no one's going to be up here or down here, right? And next, it literally pulls down another hill, which means there's going to be no one down there. And I just give this team the free low ground, which they're stupid. They full tarp this whole thing when they literally should just slid down. But that doesn't concern me. What I literally could have done is just slid down and used 0 builds. But instead, I had to use a lot of mats. And yes, it's a good game. We got 5th place. We got good points. I think that's like 40 points. It's a very good game. But we could have had a 60-point game. Just because that little change where we don't go for that one condition. Mistake that we end up making this game is going to end game without cap materials when we had the chance to go in with max materials. So I only need wood and brick here. I have cap metal. And I end up landing on this mountain. And look, I can farm this tree. I can farm this brick here. And it would help a lot. Look, I like farm a little bit. But I can take my time. Like, there's going to be no one out here. And there's no one near us. We're on a hill. We're in a good spot. I can farm this tree. Like, I can farm that rock. And then what ends up happening is we can't re-farm later in the game because everybody's already farmed all the rocks and all the buildings. So we end up going into endgame with -500 brick, which hurts a lot when you consider that everybody else is 555. Another mistake that we make that burns even more mats is we sit here for a bit, and when next zone shows, there's 2 choices that you have this season. Either you run insta, or you jetpack late with a good timing. But we do neither. What I should have done, because the zone is so close, just run. Like, literally just run and go here. Clearly there's no one in here. And, like, go back there. I would have been fine, you know, on that hill. But we just kind of sit here and do nothing. And then I end up running in late, which burns 400 mats because we had to use wood. And those mats would have helped us a lot in endgame, where we ended up running out of mats before everybody else.